I am Elizabeth, 79 years old. My body is frail and my breaths are shallow, and the doctors have already told my family that I do not have much time left. I can see it in their eyes, the soft glances, the hushed tones, and the tender yet pained way my husband James holds my hand, as if he is afraid I might slip away at any moment. To him, I have always been an angel, the perfect wife, the devoted mother, the woman he could trust with his life. But James does not know the truth I have carried inside me for decades. For many years, I have borne a secret so dark and shameful that it has slowly eaten away at my soul like a poison. I have spent countless nights in silent prayer, begging God for forgiveness, yet the heavy weight of my sin has never left me. As I lie in this hospital bed, waiting for the inevitable end, I wonder if I will be judged for my transgressions. Will I ever be free of this burden, or will it cling to me in life and beyond? It began in the early years of our marriage, when James was a hard-working man, devoted to building a better future for us. He would spend long hours in his workshop, tirelessly taking on extra projects and saving every penny so that one day we could buy a home of our own. I admired his dedication, but in my heart, loneliness had taken root. That emptiness became a dangerous void that led me to seek comfort in places where I should not have looked. Michael, James's best friend since childhood, was always there with a kind smile and an easy confidence. Growing up together and attending the same church, Michael was a constant presence in our lives. When James worked late into the night, Michael would often visit, offering companionship and laughter when I needed it most. His presence stirred something forbidden within me, an illicit warmth that I knew I should resist, yet found impossible to ignore. One evening, when James was away on a business trip, Michael lingered longer than usual. The house was wrapped in a heavy silence, and the air seemed charged with an unspoken promise. As he looked at me with eyes that betrayed an intent far deeper than friendship, I felt a tremor of weakness overcome my resolve. In that moment of vulnerability, I let him in. That night, I experienced a forbidden intimacy, a moment where two men occupied my heart in different ways. It was an act that shattered the illusion of the pure and faithful wife that James believed me to be. The following morning, I awoke overwhelmed by guilt and revulsion. I could hardly bear to face the mirror, for I saw a stranger whose actions betrayed everything I had promised to uphold. I tried to convince myself it was a single lapse, a mistake that would never be repeated. But I soon found that sin, once sown, grows relentlessly in the shadows of the heart. Then came the first of many ominous warnings. I had a dream that night in which I wandered through a vast, scorching desert. The sun beat down mercilessly, and the relentless wind carried with it a mournful wail. In the distance, a deep and commanding voice echoed, "Elizabeth, where will you hide when the truth is revealed?" The very earth beneath me cracked open, and I found myself falling into an endless abyss of darkness. I awoke gasping, heart pounding in terror, but rather than heeding this divine warning, I buried the dream deep within me. Not long after, I discovered I was pregnant. James, overjoyed by what he believed was a blessing from God, embraced the news with hope and pride. I, however, was consumed by dread. I calculated the impossible possibility that the child was James's, desperately clinging to that notion to mask my secret. Every tender kiss, every hopeful word about our future, became a piercing reminder of the deceit that tainted our joy. My heart ached with the guilt of having stolen such a pure gift. When our son Eric was born, his innocent face bore a striking resemblance to James. In that moment, I convinced myself that perhaps fate had shown me mercy, that the child was indeed a token of divine grace. Michael soon moved away, and with his departure, the physical tryst ended, yet the moral stain remained indelible. I tried to atone by immersing myself in religious devotion, engaging in charitable works, and dedicating my every waking moment to the service of my family and community. Still, no amount of good deeds could cleanse the tarnish of my transgression. Years passed, and the burden of my sin only grew heavier. I found no solace in the church pews, no relief in prayer. I had another nightmare, a vision of a grand church with its doors flung open, filled with voices in joyous hymn. As I attempted to enter, an invisible barrier held me back, and a quiet voice whispered, "The righteous may enter, but you carry a hidden stain." I awoke drenched in cold sweat, my hands trembling as I searched desperately through the Bible for answers that remained elusive. A few years ago, a painful moment threatened to unveil my secret. My granddaughter, with the innocent curiosity of youth, discovered an old, faded photograph tucked away in a dusty album. With a bright smile, she held it up and asked, "Grandma, who is this handsome man? You look so happy with him." The photograph captured a moment with Michael, a moment frozen in time that spoke of past intimacy and betrayal. My heart skipped a beat as James gently took the photograph from her small hands, studying it with a look that mixed suspicion with sorrow. I managed a frail laugh, dismissing it as nothing more than a memory of an old friend. Yet deep down, I knew the truth was perilously close to the surface. Now, as I lie here with the inevitability of death drawing near, my body weak and my spirit tormented by the relentless guilt of my choices, I find myself turning to God in a final, desperate plea. James remains at my side, cherishing the image of the devoted wife he has always known, while I carry the hidden truth of my betrayal. What would confessing at this moment achieve? It would only break the last remnants of hope and trust that linger in his eyes. So with trembling hands and a soul laid bare, I offer my final prayer. Lord, I have sinned. I have carried this burden for far too long, and I beg for your mercy. I am unworthy of your grace, yet I know that in your infinite love, there is forgiveness for even the deepest of transgressions. Please cleanse my soul before I draw my final breath, and grant me the peace that has eluded me in these long, remorseful years. A strange warmth begins to fill me, a soft glow that eases the unrelenting pain of regret. Though I am uncertain if my sins will ever be forgiven, or if the shadows of my past will forever haunt me, I find solace in the belief that no secret can remain hidden before you. In these final moments, as my breath grows shallow and my vision blurs into darkness, I whisper one last plea into the silence. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. As the calm of acceptance settles over me, I close my eyes, surrendering to the inevitable embrace of eternity, and in that quiet, final instant, I hope that my soul may finally be free. In the quiet hours of the night, as shadows dance upon the walls of my room, I find my thoughts wandering back to the days when my heart was unburdened and my choices were made with the naive certainty of youth. I remember the gentle touch of Michael's hand, the thrill of a forbidden embrace, and the reckless abandon with which I allowed my heart to stray from the sanctity of my vows. Each memory, once sweet with the promise of passion, now fills me with a deep, unyielding sorrow. For I know that those fleeting moments of pleasure have cast a long shadow over my entire existence. Every whisper of the wind seems to echo with the sound of my missteps, and every quiet moment is a reminder that the past cannot be undone, no matter how fervently I wish to erase it. There are times when I long to rewrite the pages of my history, to step back into a world where hope was abundant and the future seemed bright. But like the relentless march of time, the consequences of my actions have woven themselves into the fabric of my life, irrevocable and permanent. In these final hours, I am forced to confront the harsh reality that the choices I made, though born of loneliness and despair, have irrevocably altered the course of my soul. The legacy I leave behind is one of both love and regret, a bittersweet reminder of a life marked by both devotion and betrayal. And so, as I prepare to take my final breath, I cling to the hope that in the vast mercy of the divine, there may still be a glimmer of redemption awaiting me, a final absolution that will allow my spirit to finally find peace.